Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, offering personalized service to customers from their first visit to the store to when they drive their new Land Rover home. More at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com.
A court settlement is putting college sports in uncharted territory. That's just one of the things you'll want to hear about to start your day for Monday, June 3rd. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, the Peoria Zoo is bringing new experiences to the public, starting with some big bugs. Big Bugs, that's the name of the exhibit featuring human-sized animatronics of a praying mantis, bumblebee, ladybug, moth, and more. Here's Park District Executive Director Emily Cahill.
You learn more about some of the creatures in our native environment that probably get a bad rap sometimes, but they're really fun. They all make noise, they all move.
Cahill says this is the first time the Park District has tried bringing a traveling exhibition like Big Bugs to the Peoria Zoo.
The nice thing about an exhibit like this is that it does stay more than just a weekend, right? A lot of times it feels like what we do as a park district is to bring in a special event, and this is certainly special, but it does allow for more people to come through and see it.
Cahill says it's important to the Park District to make an effort to vary what the public is getting when they visit the zoo, and hopes the attractions will encourage families to make more than one trip during the summer. The Park District has been planning for Big Bugs since September and is already looking at other possibilities for 2025 and beyond. Big Bugs is open now through July 28th. It's an additional $3 charge on the regular zoo admission. Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. Bradley University President Stephen Standiford is resigning. A statement says his resignation is effective June 15th, and current Board of Trustees Chair Jonathan Michael is filling the role of president in the interim. And a much-anticipated entertainment venue in a highly visible East Peoria location plans to open this week. Plus, some state lawmakers are unhappy with plans to relocate a long-neglected Central Illinois women's prison. Find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. College sports are heading into new territory after the NCAA and 5 major conferences agreed to a court statement that paves the way for paying players. But exactly how this will play out isn't entirely clear, and one Peoria area professor who has studied college sports says the announcement poses more questions than answers. WCBU's Joe Deacon reports.
The landmark $2.8 billion settlement still must be approved by a federal judge, but the agreement is expected to see more than 14,000 current and former student-athletes compensated over a 10-year period. The class action claim alleged these athletes were prevented from earning money through endorsements by now-defunct NCAA rules. Josh Dickhouse is the director of Bradley University's Charlie Steiner School of Sports Communication and Acting Department chair. He says many details regarding these payments remain unclear.
The biggest thing that is unclear is how they're going to come up with all the money, because it dates back to 2014. So are they going to go back to every Division I athlete and give them money? I don't know, is it $5,000 or whatever? Is it only certain sports that are going to get paid? Is it only certain players from certain sports that are going to get paid? Are there Title IX issues we're walking through here? How are they going to decide the allocation of how much falls onto the mid-majors? How much do they have to pay?
In addition to the back payments, the agreement is also expected to result in direct payments to student-athletes beginning next fall. Dickhouse says that also presents a host of complications.
Going forward, is it just standard practice that if you're a Division I athlete, you get paid? Or do you say, hey, football's the big money maker, they get $5,000 a year, and basketball they get $3,000, and these other sports aren't revenue generating, so they don't make money? It's a major concern. It seems like there's a lot of hurdles here. It certainly seems safe to say that this is the end of amateurism in college sports.
Dickhouse says the settlement goes along with a recent trend of athlete empowerment, following name, likeness, and image compensation and the transfer portal. He says it's another clear indication that money drives college sports.
Not just money, football money. I mean, we've seen a period of change in college sports for some years now. You know, there were some of the great basketball conferences that were torn apart. We've seen conference realignment, and a lot of it seems to be squarely aimed at finding the big football money.
But where does that leave a sports program like Bradley that doesn't have football? Dickhouse says it presents a dynamic in college sports where programs aren't on a level playing field, and paying for players may broaden that imbalance. He adds that paying student-athletes, in a way, makes them de facto employees, which presents a whole host of ramifications.
There's a lot of things that a student-athlete on a scholarship gets for free that could now be taxable, including if they get paid, that's taxable income. Will they have to purchase their own health insurance? The gear that they're giving out, clothes, etc., will they have to pay for that now? Could they, in essence, if they are underperforming, just be fired? So I'm not sure that those were questions that were fully thought of from the players' side of it.
Dickhouse says that equity issues present another major concern, especially when it comes to women's sports.
I've been asked by students for years about paying college athletes. And I said, you know, my thought had always been that I don't know where the endless supply of money would come from. That based off of Title IX, that you can't walk in and say the point guard on the women's basketball team is a star, but women's basketball doesn't generate the revenue that men's football does, so we're just not going to pay them. Or they're going to get paid 10% of what the male athletes get paid.
WCBU reached out to the Bradley Athletics Department. We were told no one was able to discuss the NCAA settlement at this time. For WCBU's On Deck, I'm Joe Deacon.
Now, before we let you go, the Peoria Bach Festival continues today with a young musicians concert. This concert at Westminster Presbyterian Church features elementary and high school students performing their best Bach. It starts at 12:05 p.m. Admission is a free will offering. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.